Hey everyone, it's Dr. H, your friendly wargame guy at the Air Command and Staff College. Almost forgot my own intro. That wouldn't have been great. This is going to be an example of actual play with the naval rules. Naval and air rules, I guess, together. So this is going to take a minute, but hopefully if you need an example of how this stuff all works out in practice, in the flow, you'll have an example here. Now, to give you a quick orientation, right? We have an American carrier strike group and an American SAG. The objective of this game is pretty simple. We're going to try to drive this American nuclear carrier battle group right into the Taiwan Strait sea zone. That's the objective for the game. The Chinese want to prevent that. I'm not going to claim this scenario is balanced in any way, shape, or form. I literally made it up in 5 minutes. This is more demonstrative than anything else. To add in a few things, one of the limitations of the vassal version of Vietnam currently in its state is that it doesn't have all of the markers we'd want to use. So these two are standing in for Chinese anti-ship ballistic missiles. Remember that those look like this here, and they have Naval Strike 3 values, and you can use them, I think, twice per turn. I'll double check that. For this game, we're going to use them twice per turn. But that's what they are. These are detectable and these are strikeable, but they're not detected for purposes of this game. We're not going to worry too much about detection. So they're invincible for the moment. We've already got some planes in the air superiority missions box. For this game, we're going to assume that air superiority has already happened, and we're going to pick up later in the air naval phase to start. But this is the result of air superiority, right? These three guys for China, these three guys for the United States, which means AX advantage is neutral. No one has. One sec, I forgot to set this up. No one has air superiority. No one has AX advantage. These are in the Taiwanese air superiority, so remember that they can appear in the blue airplane zone, so South China Sea, Taiwan Strait, and East China Sea. We've got a sub-level of 2, an ASW level of 1, and we've got, this is the Chinese carriers air wing here. We've got these planes ready to go in the Chinese ready box. We've got these guys over here in the United States, these bombers. We have this F-35 in Japan. We've got the carrier strike wing here. That's on this. Hold on, the United States is going to have initiative. Let me flip that. All right, there we go. So blue has the initiative. And then when I come over here to the general records track, which is here, so we have 2 cruise missile points for the United States, 5 cruise missile points for the Chinese. We're going to play with tanker points, but again, don't have the tanker point markers. So 2 tanker points for China, 2 tanker points for the United States, right? So those can be used for tanker point kind of things. And I will note their use when I do use them. So I think that basically covers the situation. I think there's your briefing, pending any questions. No, hopefully you aren't yelling questions at the screen right now. If it comes up and I've forgotten something, I will let you know. Okay, excellent. So let's go to our sequence of play. Let's call up the advanced sequence of play. Advanced, there we go, advanced sequence of play. So we have already hypothetically this turn done the weather phase, it's clear. The initiative phase, it's blue. Electronic detection phase, nothing interesting happened there. No special operations forces. We've done the air superiority sortie step in air naval. We've done the resolution step. We've determined air superiority levels. We've determined automatic detection ranges, which only happens on the operational map anyway. We've updated AWACS advantage. All right, so now we need to roll for control of inshore sea boxes. So let's look here and see what we have. Now remember, the conditions to roll for control of an inshore sea box are basically when you have a difference between control of the at-sea box and control of the inshore box, right? If someone controls the at-sea box but doesn't control the inshore box, you should roll for control of the inshore box. Or if the other side roll is control of the inshore box, but if control of the at-sea box is contested and the inshore box is contested, that's good. Or if both sides control the inshore box and the at-sea box, there's no need to roll for control. Nobody has any control over sea zones in this, so no inshore boxes to roll for. Let me get back to this. Okay, let's see. During during non-storm turns, roll for control of at-sea boxes. So we have to roll for control of all of the at-sea boxes. So we'll call up our control chart really quickly. That's going to be under standard, and here we go. So C control here, we have this set of charts here, and we can just get sub threat level and ASW level, the +2, -1, so it's going to be a +1 to everything for all of these rolls that we make, but we'll come back. So we'll start with here, the Gulf of Tonkin. Here. And then and then we'll grab this. So, the Gulf of Tonkin, we're going to roll a d10. And it's going to be 2. So, game specific. Let's see, is the Gulf of Tonkin here? Game specific, -2. So now we're at 0. There are no ships present in the Gulf of Tonkin. An additional -1 for the sub threat level, so we're at -1, right? We'd have -2 + 1, so we're at -1. Let's see, PRC is not going to expend a cruise missile point, and no one has air superiority, right? There is no inshore box here, so that is -1 is less than 2, so the Chinese control the Gulf of Tonkin. Flip that over, put this here. All right, South China Sea. Again, China will not expend a cruise missile point here. All right, so we rolled a 5. 5, no naval units present in the South China Sea. -1 down to 4 for the threat level. Let's see, let's see, game specific, no. Okay. So nothing for that. China's not going to expend anything, so it's just going to be 5 minus, what do we have? 5 minus 1 is 4. So the South China Sea is contested. We place no control markers. Okay, Spratly Island. Roll the die. No naval units present, so we rolled 1. No naval units present. China's not spending a cruise missile to control this. So we know it's going to be -1, so we're down to, what did we roll? So we're down to 0. This is going to be probably Chinese controlled. Approaches now. No. Philippine Sea. Philippines. No. Gulf of Tonkin, no. So this is going to be 1 minus 1 is 0. That's going to be Chinese controlled. You can see that this can go faster if you, with a little practice, right? There we go. Sorry, Spratly Islands. Celebes Sea. So the Celebes Sea. No naval units present. We rolled a 0, -1. We know for the sub threat level, but is the Celebes Sea on the game specific list? Yes, it is. +3. So we rolled 0, -1. What do we have? 0, -1, so -1. +3 takes it to 2. So the Chinese still control it, but barely. All right, let's come here to the Taiwan Straits. China will spend a cruise missile point here. this is worth spending a control. This, given the way that the scenario is written, is worth spending a cruise missile point for. So I'll call up the track and I'll drop the cruise missiles that the Chinese control by 1 down to 4. We also have a Chinese carrier battle group here. So let's see, per non-allied SAG or CV present is -1, -2 for the sub-threat level. The Taiwan Straits is just sort of a straight up roll here, but we did expend that, so it's another -2, so we're at -4. Roll the die. 8. -4 is 4, so the Taiwan Straits are contested. No one controls those. Okay, central approaches. Also worth spending a cruise missile point for. So the Chinese will spend another cruise missile point. Excellent. So the Chinese have spent a cruise missile point. So we come here, remember, -1, -2 for the SAG. Central approaches on our list. It is +2, so that just evens it out, right? So the SAG and the ASW level are -2. +2, game specific rule. China spent a cruise missile point for the central approaches, so it's going to be a total of -1. Roll the die. And that is a 9. -1 is 8. That is Allied control. So we put down an Allied control marker. And because the Allies control the central approaches, this SAG now has to move. So this SAG, it can move to the nearest Chinese controlled, which is the Spratly Islands, the nearest contested. We'll move it to the Taiwan Straits. Note that we don't have to check for anything for this movement. It just happens automatically in this phase. So we don't have to worry about contested movement. Okay, Philippine Sea. China can't spend a cruise missile here, so they won't. Roll the die. Okay, 1. We know we have, there are no naval units there. -1 for the ASW level, for the sub-threat level against the ASW level, so -1 there. Game specific. Philippine Sea is +3, so we go 1, -1 is 0, +3 for the Philippine Sea is going to give us a contested Philippine Sea. So no one controls the Philippine Sea. All right, let's come back up here to the East China Sea. Again, we'll roll the die. The Chinese could spin a cruise missile hill, but they won't. Okay, so that's 4. Again, we know -1 for the ASW level. There are no ships. There are no cruise missiles being expended. And does the East China Sea get a specific modifier? No, it doesn't. So we rolled a 4. -1 is 3. 3 is contested. All right, Ryukyu Islands. Or the Ryukyu Islands. I'm going to just pronounce it 5 different ways. Okay, 4. Again, we know -1. China can spend a cruise missile here. And in fact, they will. China will spend another cruise missile for this approach into the Taiwan Strait. Actually, no, they're not. That doesn't make sense. Sorry. They won't do that. Okay. So we know -1 for the sub-level, so we're at -3. And then there are no modifiers there. So 4 -1 is 3. 3 is contested. We already done that. Northern approaches. No naval units, so -1 for that. Nothing for the... No Chinese cruise missiles. Cruise missiles aren't in range. And so, but northern and central approaches are going to be +2. So 8 -1 +2 is going to be 9. So that is definitely going to be Allied controlled. And then we have the Marianas. Marianas has 2 naval units, so +2, -1 for the sub-threat level differential. And then we have the Marianas is just an additional +2. No, sorry, correction. The Marianas is an additional +3. So that's going to be plus. So +2, -1, plus. So +2 +3 is +5, -1 is +4. So unless we roll a 0 or 1, the Allies control this. Let's roll the die. And that is a 1. So that is contested. Now, it didn't flip, so the Americans don't have to move. But it is contested. Okay, we have now done that step. We have determined sea control. Yep. And now let's call up our sequence of play. Okay. Let's see. Both sides roll for gate detection for all naval units. It says not on game turn 1. We're ignoring that. And also, we're going to do it. Even if this... And I haven't declared if this is gate 1 or not. So we're going to still do it. Okay. So, let's start with China trying to detect the CVN. Just really quickly. Overcast, no. Storm, no. At sea box DRM. So, that right here is, remember, this radar dish number. This radar screen number. So +2, no OX advantage, no friendly naval units in the inshore box, no level of air superiority, there are no friendly naval units. So all we have is this +2 for the CV, for the carriers. They rolled a 6 +2. That is no detection. Same for the US SAG. We have 3 +2 is 5, no detection. Okay, we'll come up here to the Taiwan Straits. Again, no friendly ones, but there is a -1 for blue detection in the Taiwan Straits. And so we roll an 8. 8 minus 1 is 7, so the Chinese carrier is undetected. And then we rolled a 7, the Chinese SAG is undetected. So nobody knows where anybody is. Good times. Okay, cool. So we did detection. Non-storm turns, both sides roll for mine clearance. No. No special operations phase. First strike phase. To strike each other, we have to know each other exists. So we find ourselves in an awkward position where nobody knows what's happening. So we can skip that. We go to the first supply phase. Doesn't matter. And then we come over here. Initiative, movement, and combat phase. Okay. Now, the United States... It's the initiative movement phase. The United States has the initiative. They can move their naval units. So, we're going to move this carrier group. We're going to try to move this carrier group into the central approaches. All right. Where's my... There we go. So, right. So remember, we look at the back of the rules. We're going to see if this move... needs to be contested. And spoilers, it doesn't, but we're going to do this for the drill. All right. So we're starting at an at-sea hex or an at-sea box or an inshore box, and we're moving to an at-sea box. Starting location controlled, no. Next we're pulling, no. Enemy naval unit and the location, starting location, no. Is the location you're trying to get to enemy controlled? No. No mines. All right. Enemy naval unit, the destination, no. So the movement would be successful. However, it has a cruise. That is a cruise missile box. So the Chinese can spend a cruise missile to make any naval movement contested. If it has that cruise missile box, we want this. The Chinese want this to be contested, and so they will expend a cruise missile. Pew. They're running low on cruise missiles, in case you were wondering. So, boom, we now have contested movement. So we'll come over here and look at the contested movement, sea movement chart. Okay. So, DRMs. So we're moving a carrier strike group, so -1. There are no Chinese forces there. No one has air supremacy. No inshore boxes are controlled. So -2 for the ASW level, so we're, sorry.
Right, -2 for the ASW level, +1. No. Oh, hold on, this doesn't make much sense. Oh, sorry, the ASW level, -1. So, yeah, got it backwards. So -1, -2, +2 for the submarine threat level, so we're straight up. Let's see, non-allied cruise missiles, so +1. So yeah, we're +1. Cool. So this whole thing, so we're gonna roll this whole thing at +1. 0 plus 1 is going to be 1. And that means the move is successful. So this carrier strike group is now here. We're going to do the same thing for the SAG. The Chinese they're running out of cruise missiles, so they're not going to oppose that movement. Okay. Now we are in the exploitation movement segment. So we're gonna push, right? We're gonna push the carrier strike group into the Taiwan Strait. And so we'll come back up here to see if this is opposed or not. Or I'm sorry, contested movement. So let me open up this. Okay. Starting at an at-sea box or inshore box. Is your starting location enemy controlled? No. Mines? No. Enemy unit in starting location? No. Is the location moving to enemy controlled? No. No mines. Enemy naval unit in destination? Yes. Contested sea movement. Okay, so we're going to conduct some contested sea movement. So we come over here to our contested sea movement track. Chart. So each SAG or CVBG, okay, that's going to be +2, -1 for the United States. So we're at +1. Air supremacy, no. Let's see, no inshore boxes are controlled. Minus the ASW level, so we are down to -1, but +2 for the submarine threat level. No mine marker. The Chinese are not, they're running low on cruise missiles, so they're not going to spend a cruise missile point. Maybe they should, but that's a separate issue. So we're looking at +2. We roll the die. So 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. Come down here, we read the chart. 6 to 8. Either the U.S. Navy ship aborts or it takes a strike 1 marker. We'll take the strike 1 marker. All right, now we're going to move the SAG over. Same roll, +2, right, because nothing's really changed. And 2 plus 2 is 4. That's going to just get. Okay, cool. So we've made it, right? And part of the issue is that nobody's detected anyone, so nobody knows where anybody is. So nobody can conduct strikes. Hopefully I've shown you how these things work a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and, now that we've made it in here and we've done some movement, I'm going to rewind the clock a little bit and put some detection markers on these U.S. forces and let the Chinese shoot at them a bit. But I'm going to delete this strike marker. And we'll move these guys back, right? And then we're going to go ahead and put a point detect here and a point detect here. Okay, so let's go to the first strike phase. Let's go back. All right. Just imagine I'm waving my fingers at you, Wayne's World style. So we're going to go back in time, and now we're in the first strike phase. So, question: Can these ballistic missiles strike these guys? So they got to be they got to be within 2 Z zones. 1, 2, no. All right. But we can conduct airstrikes. We have, most of our planes have medium range, so medium range can move 1 C zone over. So on the carrier force, no, can't actually get there. And the Badgers are long range, 1, 2, so we had the same problem. But remember, we have tanker points. So the Badgers can use the tanker points to go up 1 from L to unlimited. So they can move as far as they want if we expend the tanker point. And so I'm going to call up here, and I'm
I'm going to open this up. I have 2 tanker points. I'm going to spend 2 tanker points, and I'm going to make both Badgers unlimited. I'm going to make a strike, and I'm going to expend these 2 cruise missile points that just happen to be here. And I'm going to send both of these Badgers to conduct a strike against the carrier strike group with cruise missiles. So the Badgers are not in any danger. Okay? Badgers are not in any danger. The cruise missiles, however, are on their own coming in. So the detection value on the US is 8, SAM 8, AA 3, right? So those cruise missiles have to run. So we have to check and see. We have to now do the standard strike procedure stuff, right? So I'm going to go ahead and close this for a minute. Well, no. Yeah, I'm going to close this for a minute. Make things a little easier to read, I think. All right, so I'm going to call up my strike charts. My air-to-air charts. Up, wrong game. All right, let me call up my air defense. Okay, almost there. All right, cool. So advanced detection. So we've got an 8 for the carrier air defenses. So target landing X and the 2 X's of an HQ, no. Non-attack helicopter, non-attack helicopter, no. Non-air transport mission. No wild weasels, no transports. Mission hex, yeah, whatever, it's not a mission hex. Versus cruise missile, +1. Weather storm, not everything stealth, no AX advantage. So just +1. We roll a 0 and we roll a 9. So the 9 becomes a 10. That cruise missile is just going to go through. The 0 isn't early detection. Okay, excellent. Can I intercept this? Let's take a look at here. The answer is, yeah, I absolutely can intercept this, right? I can launch either one of these guys off of in the ready box of my carrier, but I'm not going to. We're going to rely on SAMs. So I'm going to come here to the SAM chart. No, there we go. All right, so SAM chart, remember SAM value 8, here we go. So the arms for Sandfire, again, no. Not a target hex, no. Versus cruise missile, +1. No wild weasels, no storms, no stealth units. So this is just a shot +1. And I get a 7 +1 is 8. That on a SAM 8 will probably not do much. 8 on a SAM 8 is a miss. Not doing well today. Now, naval rule, even if undetected, AAA will shoot first. And the AAA value of the carrier strike group is, in fact, 3. Right? Remember, down here, 3. All right, AAA 3. Excellent. Okay. So, AAA fire. Not adverse attack, helicopter, not an AWACS. Not a transport mission, not overcast, not stealth, not storm. Right? So here we go, AAA of 3. So they get to fire both cruise missiles, even though the one was undetected. So we've got a 3. 3 on AAA 3 is +2. So the first cruise missile gets a +2. And we rolled a 9. That's not going to do anything. So one cruise missile effectively does kind of get through scot-free. Okay, so remember, naval units are hardened targets. So we're here on the cruise missile. So let's just go quickly. Stack, no. One of these is going to roll on a +2. Pilot skill doesn't matter. Let's see. Yeah, it's not an A1HZ Wild Weasel strike. Kind of hilarious. Non-US cruise missile strike +1. So we're at +1. No. Not attacked by interceptors. Not against the AA track. Artillery strikes of storm turn. Standoff air versus leg unit, no. Naval unit conducting strike, no. Point detection, no. Oh yeah, point detection, -1. So +1, -1, 0. Air unit, non-standoff strike, no. Cruise missile, not naval surface combat, +1. So we're back up to +1. Strike micro naval unit, no.
So +1 overall. So one has a +1, one has a +3. We'll roll the +3. 9 plus 3 is 12. That's not going to do anything. 0 plus 1 is probably going to hurt really badly. So here we are, cruise. Read over to 1. Not too bad. Strike 1. All right, we'll take it. All right, so this carrier strike group gets a strike 1 marker placed on it. Bada bing. And then the Chinese player, oh, no, wrong thing, moves these bombers down to the flown box because they have flown. All right. That's the strike phase. These guys aren't in range, so we will now move these guys in. Now remember, controlled zone to controlled zone, into a friendly controlled zone, uncontested movement. Unless the Chinese chooses to expend a cruise missile, they're out of cruise missiles. So that won't be happening. Excellent. Now, we've done one movement phase. Now we do the exploitation movement phase. Remember, strike phases don't come up again. And then boom, now we've come here. Now the question is, this is of course is this a contested sea move? We know it is. Again, remember from before, we're moving into a zone with enemy units, so this is a contested move. So I will call up the naval charts. Wrong chart. There we go. So contested sea movement. So it's going to be +2 minus +2. You know what? For the sake of argument, we're going to stack these guys together. So these two guys are stacked together to make this movement. They ride or die together. They get the same result from the movement, but we only make one roll. Okay, so +2 SAG, +2 for enemy units, +2 for enemy units, -2 for friendly units. No one has air supremacy. No one controls the shore box. -1 for ASW level, +2 for submarine level. So there you go. So we're at +1. No mine markers. We're not spending anything. So it's just +1 for the roll. So 4 + 1 is 5. I think that's going to make it. Yeah, 5, movement successful. Boom, here we go. All right, at the end of the movement phase, either side can engage in naval strike combat. The Chinese are hanging out here, and the Americans don't know that they exist. So the Chinese get to shoot at this stack of units, the carrier strike group and the SAG. So they know that they exist. So boom, we go to the strike marker. Oh, sorry, to the strike chart. Strike 2. Boom. Here we go. So none of these really apply, if I remember correctly. Right, so at strike 2, the SAG, right, has a 2. So we're on the strike 2 column. -1 for point detection. And that's going to be it. So just a -1 for point detection on strike 1. So we'll roll twice. Sorry, it's conducting 1 strike against the carrier strike group. We can't strike both of them. So 7. That's going to be nothing, right? So we're down here. And this guy immediately gets point detected for the trouble. And then the carrier strike group will conduct naval surface fire. Why not? So, boom. He's going to attack the strike group. That's a 9. Yeah, we're not getting anywhere from there. He's point detected for the trouble. Okay. Now, units that were point detected, or units that were detected, can conduct their own strike, their own naval strike, and they will. So we're going to send the SAG to go attack the Chinese carrier strike group. So that's naval 3. 2. That's pretty good. We know that there really isn't anything left. -1 becomes 1. On the naval 3 is a strike 2. So he gets strike 2. And then the U.S. Carrier Strike Group will... U.S. Carrier Strike Group is going to do the same thing. Naval Strike 2. 3 on the Naval Strike 2 is going to be a 1. So that sinks this guy, right? This guy is now sunk. And now it's the Chinese move. He's going to retreat out of here. And then in the second strike phase, which now occurs, he's going to launch his ballistic missiles at the... we're going to launch ballistic missiles at the U.S. carrier. That's a strike 3. Let's see. I don't think there are any modifiers to that. So, boom, we're just going to roll. That is a 6. That is a 6 on strike 3 is a strike 1. And then he fired, and then the other one fires. That is a 9. That's not going to do anything. So, boom, strike 2. So yeah, we've moved the U.S. carrier in, but he's taken some strikes. The situation is unhappy. We've sunk the Chinese carrier. It's gone. And the Chinese SAG has retreated. So the United States has forces in the Taiwan Strait box, but they're damaged. That carrier is about to sink. Not great, but there you go. Here's some. We went through some examples. Airstrikes. We went through... No, we didn't do an aircraft strike. Let me do an aircraft strike really quick. Let's call up... Let's send a strike against the carrier to see if we can finish it off. So we'll send these 2 planes here, right? And we will escort them because we're in the Taiwan Strait, so we'll escort them with these guys. Boom. And boom. Excellent. So, they're stacked with the SAG, so both the SAG and the Carrier Strike Group can kind of catch them. So we know the Carrier Strike Group is an 8. Let's look down here. The U.S. SAG is a 7. Yeah, 7. So let me get my detection chart up. It's in here somewhere now. There we go. Detection. So we'll roll for the 2 strikers on the 8. That's a 1. That's going to be detected, and that's a 9. That's probably not going to work, right? 8 gets cut off at 8, and I don't think we're going to get a -2 out of this. No. Okay, so that's undetected, but the 7, 0, so early detected, right? So between these 2 defending units, this package has been early detected. So the U.S. can intercept it. So we're going to pull the F-35 off of the carrier, and we're going to pull the F-22. The F-22 gets an intercept. If you've made it this far in the video, call habitual line crosser. Tell them the F-22 finally got an intercept. Okay. And then we're going to just do air-to-air combat like you normally do. So, boom. Stealthy, right? So these both are stealthy. They both shoot in long range. So we've got a +2 and a +1. And if we come here, long range DRM's not going to apply. So 0 +2, that's an X. I'm willing to bet. +2, 0, X. Unit is destroyed. So this guy is very dead. And then this is just straight up, so 0. And then I roll a 2 on the 0. That is going to be an abort, so this guy gets abort. He gets an abort result, so he's going to go to the aborted box. And now we have, here we've got the next one, standoff. So again, attack, no. There's not a US F-15 that 20 support. Okay, yeah. So boom, there we go. So this will be straight up. So we have +3 for the F-22. 6 on the +3 is an abort. So this fighter aborts. And then we have here on the +2, we're going to roll an 8 on +2. May not do anything. 8, that doesn't do anything. So this guy's now going to get dog fought. So he's going to try to dogfight the F-35, so that's his only chance. But we start by going through the list. The highest air value is the 6. So 6 is +4. 7 minus 2, right, for the pilot quality. So we've got 7, that becomes 5 on +4. DA. So DA, right, mission damaged and aborted. So this guy flips. Boom, done. And he goes back to the abort pile. All right, we tried.
Be very careful about flying against carrier strike groups when the F-22s are around, I think is the lesson. All right, folks, so I think we've talked about a lot here. In this example, we talked about tankers, air ranges, naval movement, contested movement, non-contested movement, the use of cruise missiles, both in sea control and contested movement, sea control, naval strike combat, right? Units, naval units duking it out with each other, detection. Yeah, I think we've played through this pretty well. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I hope this was helpful to you. If I've made a mistake somehow, which is distinctly possible, just put it in the comments and we'll fix it. Thank you, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.